It started like any other late-night scroll through Instagram. People were half asleep in bed, checking their feeds before dozing off, when suddenly, an unexpected notification popped up. Remy Ma had gone live. First, no one thought much of it. She'd been quiet lately, laying low after months of drama with Papoose, so fans figured maybe she was just jumping on to talk about music or drop a casual update. But as soon as viewers tuned in, it was obvious something was different. Her voice was trembling, and her eyes looked glassy, like she'd been crying for hours. Everyone watching could feel it immediately. This wasn't going to be any ordinary live session. Remy's phone was propped against what looked like a kitchen counter, and for a moment, all she did was stare into the camera. You could almost hear the tension buzzing through the screen. People started commenting in all caps. "What happened? Are you okay? Where's Papoose?" But she ignored them. She took a slow, shaky breath and finally spoke. She said, "I'm so tired of being quiet. I'm so tired of people thinking I'm stupid." Her voice cracked on that last word. Viewers were confused. Nobody could figure out what she meant, but it was clear something huge was about to drop. The comments poured in faster and faster. Thousands of people trying to guess who she was talking about. Then Remy lifted her phone, and her hand was shaking. She tapped the screen to pull up her camera roll, and for a second it looked like she was hesitating. She swallowed hard and whispered, "I didn't want to do this. But you forced my hand." That was when she opened the first image, a blurry screenshot of a text conversation. The messages were between Claressa Shields and a saved contact labeled only with a heart emoji. Even though the names were partly blurred out, everyone could see who was texting who. The texts were full of pet names, late-night confessions, and references to meeting up in secret. A hush fell over the live chat. This wasn't some rumor. It was receipts. Remy scrolled to the next image, and people watching held their breath. This time, it was a photo that looked like it had been taken in a hotel bathroom mirror. The woman in the picture was turned partly to the side, her face mostly hidden by her phone. But you could still tell who it was. The shape of her jaw, the tattoos. People had seen Claressa's selfies 100 times, and this was unmistakably her. And she wasn't wearing anything. The comment section went wild. Heart emojis mixed with crying emojis and shock. "OMG Claressa. Is this real? Remy, why?" For a long moment, Remy just stared at her screen. You could see her chest rising and falling as she struggled to keep her composure. She finally said, "Y'all really think I'm the villain? You really think I'm the one breaking up my family? But let's talk about who's been sneaking around." Her voice was so hoarse it barely came out. That was when the second picture flashed up, this time even clearer, and there was no denying it. Claressa, the undefeated champion, was standing there wrapped in a towel. Her body pressed up against a man whose face was blurred out. But what caught everyone's eye was his hand, gripping her waist in a way that looked far from innocent. That was all it took. Screenshots started flying across Twitter, and within minutes, every gossip page had the story. While the internet was losing its mind, Papoose was nowhere to be seen. People were tagging him in every post, wondering what he would say. Some claimed he'd been on live with Remy moments before the meltdown, trying to calm her down. Others said he'd walked out of their house when she refused to listen. Nobody knew for sure. But a few hours later, a grainy video began circulating. In it, Papoose was sitting in a recording studio, his head in his hands. Someone off camera asked him if he was okay, and he didn't answer. He just wiped his eyes and shook his head. That 30-second clip would go on to be replayed millions of times. Fans captioned it, "When the truth finally breaks you." Back on Instagram, Remy ended her live abruptly. Just like that, she disappeared, leaving everyone to make sense of what they'd just witnessed. For a while, no one could reach Claressa. She wasn't answering texts, and her management team refused to comment. But by morning, she posted her own video. She was sitting in her car, wearing dark sunglasses. She looked exhausted. She didn't deny the pictures were real, but she insisted they were old, from a time when she and Remy weren't speaking. She said she never meant to hurt anyone. She sounded calm, but every time her voice caught, you could tell she was seconds away from crying. "This wasn't supposed to be public," she whispered. "This was between me and somebody who isn't even in the picture anymore." But the damage was done. Everyone had an opinion. Some people said Remy went too far, that no matter what happened, she shouldn't have leaked private photos. Others argued that Claressa had it coming for betraying a friend. And in the middle of it all was Papoose, who had always been the steady one, the man who held everything together when Remy was locked up, who stood by her through every scandal. Now he was the one blindsided, humiliated, and forced to watch the world dissect the most personal parts of his marriage. Over the next few days, more details leaked out. Sources claimed Remy had known about the affair for months but tried to forgive it. That she'd only lost control after finding out Claressa was still texting her lover behind her back. Supposedly, the final straw was a message that read, "Can't wait to see you again, baby." Remy allegedly saw it while checking a shared iCloud account. Whether any of that was true didn't even matter anymore. The internet had chosen its narrative. Reporters camped out in front of Remy and Papoose's house. Paparazzi chased Claressa from her gym to her car. Fans combed through old interviews, trying to spot clues that the affair had been happening right under everyone's nose. Some insisted you could see it in Claressa's eyes when she hugged Remy at award shows, that flicker of guilt she tried to hide behind her smile. Others swore Papoose looked tense every time Claressa's name came up, like he knew something he wasn't saying. Amid all the noise, Claressa's sponsors began quietly backing away. A well-known sports brand issued a statement saying they were reviewing the situation. Her publicist begged her to lay low, but it was too late. The screenshots were everywhere. Even after she deleted her account for a week, the images stayed online, reposted over and over. Meanwhile, Remy posted a single statement to her feed. It was just a black square with white text. "I will never let anyone play me for a fool again." The comments were split. Some people applauded her strength. Others accused her of revenge porn. Legal experts started debating whether Claressa could sue. But through it all, Remy didn't say another word. As for Papoose, he tried to stay out of sight. Friends said he was devastated, not just because of Claressa, but because he felt like the person he loved most had been pushed to the edge. He didn't want to see his wife become the villain in a story she didn't create. But he also couldn't pretend he wasn't hurt. The trust he'd always held onto, the idea that no matter what, they'd never betray each other, was gone. One night, paparazzi caught Papoose leaving a restaurant alone. When a reporter shouted a question about Remy, he paused for just a moment before shaking his head. "I got nothing to say," he muttered. But as he turned away, you could see the pain etched across his face. It was the look of a man who'd seen too much, who didn't know how to put the pieces back together. In the weeks that followed, everyone tried to move on, but the story never really died. Every few days, a new clip would surface, or someone would leak another screenshot. Claressa resurfaced on social media with a carefully curated post about focusing on her career. Remy began promoting her music again, though comments were still full of people reminding her of the leak. And Papoose stayed silent, caught between love and heartbreak. It's easy for people on the outside to judge. To say Remy went too far, or Claressa deserved it, or Papoose should have walked away sooner. But the truth is, none of us know what really happens behind closed doors. We only see the pieces they let us see. The fights that boil over, the photos that slip out, the tears someone happens to catch on video. The rest stays hidden, locked away in hearts that may never fully heal. This story, it's not just about revenge, drama, or the kind of scandal that trends for 48 hours before fading into digital dust. No, this is deeper. This is about betrayal, the kind that shifts your soul. The kind that makes you question everything. Every late-night conversation, every "I got you," every promise whispered in the dark. Betrayal doesn't just break your heart. It rewires your brain. Makes you see love as a threat. Turns memory into poison. So when Remy hit that share button, she knew. She knew she was unleashing a storm. She wasn't confused. She wasn't impulsive. She was calculated, fed up, and done being played like a fool on a stage she didn't sign up for. That post wasn't a slip, it was a statement. You wanted the truth? Here it is. Choke on it. In that moment, the consequences didn't matter. The only thing that did. Making sure the lies stopped living rent-free in her silence. And maybe, just maybe, she was justified. Or maybe she started a war that no one will walk away from clean. Some wounds don't heal with time. They fester. And while the world has already moved on, chewing through new scandals, new screenshots, new mess, for Remy, Claressa and Papoose, the damage is permanent. No song, no match, no interview can undo what's been done. This was the moment everything shifted. It's not about who's right anymore. It's about who's left standing. And that's what betrayal does. Doesn't just destroy relationships. It shatters identities. The people closest to you. The ones you call family. They know exactly where to cut the deepest. And when they do, there's no blueprint for recovery. No influencer thread titled, 5 Steps to Heal from Public Betrayal. You're just left bleeding in public, hoping the world stops watching before you hit the floor. Because truth doesn't care about your brand. It doesn't care about who it embarrasses. Truth is ruthless. It waits, quietly, patiently, until someone's pain grows louder than their fear. And when that day comes, the truth doesn't whisper, screams.